If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha! Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session, back-to-back sessions with my man Douglas Horn. He's back. He's one of my favorites. I hope you guys have been enjoying these interviews we've been having. He's back, though, today to talk about a new project and some more updates for Telos, so you members are going to hear this first. Doug, welcome back, man. The first time, well, not first time, last time I had you on, we were talking. Telos was at 4 cents, right?
I know, because when I saw it, when the episode actually dropped, it was already like 10.
It was already at 10 or something, right? Crazy.
We'll do that today. You know, we're recording this in this little dip. You know, but Telos has held up incredibly well.
Telos has held up. We got Telos right now at 24 cents at the time of recording, down 12%. But like you said, this is held up. It has held up. Probably. Because...
I think we can compare that against where Ether and Bitcoin is right now, and so we'll see. Who knows? It's really like a little time capsule, isn't it?
It is. And, prices, I like talking about price, but I don't focus necessarily when I'm talking about projects from a fundamental perspective. Is never driven behind price. If I'm talking trading, of course price is important, but with Telos, it's a fundamental play with me. I've said that from the beginning. And so I'm glad you're back on to talk about what's going on. Big week coming up with Telos.
Big week.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about your new project, Ethic.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Kind of cool.
Stablecoin. Yep, stablecoin.
Idea. Stablecoin, the only one that has known developers. That's and now we've expanded our team from me to 3, and everybody's willing to be fully doxxed. Just like Telos, it's kind of the same thing. I wrote that article in Cointelegraph. It got published in Cointelegraph in October about what we needed to do in order to get DeFi sort of on a good track, where we didn't have to constantly be worrying about rug pulls and bad code and things like that. And so I had 5 key points in that, and this is the first Ethereum project that I wanted to really test that out on, because I feel like one of the reasons why these sort of algorithmic stable coins haven't really met their success that they could is because people are worried about, they've only ever had anonymous developers, which I think is not great.
Cool. The only project that it was close that this reminded me of was, I think, called Smart Money. I did a sponsor review back in 2017 with them. It was pretty neat. They had like a like what you're doing, where it floats, right? There's a dynamic component to it. But I think this one even takes it further. So tell us about Ethic Money before we get into the Telos big news. I'm gonna dangle the carrot and let people wait to the end.
Well, there's a Telos connection that I think is pretty cool. So me, I have all the fun I want in crypto land doing Telos stuff. So I don't really need to kind of like have a new project. But this was pretty cool. So it's interesting. I had been working on this for a while, and it all hit right about the time that, people were really upset about GameStop and stuff. It was just so obvious how messed up, the money that we all use is. And I felt like, we need something that's like truly not connected to fiat money at all. Right. So we get because there's so many problems there. Right. So you get fiat money where you've got, you get USDT. Right. There's a lot of questions about whether that is fully collateralized. Right. If you've got USDC, that's possible. Right. You can get blacklisted. That's right there in the contract.
I brought that up to people on a live stream, a lot of people didn't realize that you can
Yeah,
actually
nobody looks at the
blacklist
details, man.
USDT as well.
Yeah.
There's been I think 2 instances with USDT, but USDC they've done it a number of times.
Yeah.
A number of times. So very true. Very true.
Yeah. So people don't look at these details of the space, and I think that I'm a guy who looks at details, so I'll look at them for them. And there's nothing really that's really clearly based on that. Even and all the other ESDs and DSD, those are all pegged against USDT or USDC. So this is actually pegged against DAI. And by doing that, it essentially makes it something that there's really no linkage at all to the regular fiat money systems. It still aims at a stable price. It's entirely voluntary. And one of the concerns and one of the sort of excuses why people have been anonymous is because they're afraid of getting stable coins regulated in a certain way, right? That would, and I don't think that's actually a good argument. I think that's mainly an excuse to be anonymous. But this takes that out of it. It's it's not a stable coin. It's not pegged in any way to USD. It doesn't claim to be. It's a voluntary elastic supply stable coin. And I just thought we needed it. I just thought we needed to actually, I'm all for having crypto engage with the broader economy, but at the same time, I think we also need cryptos that are not connected to it. I think we need the full buffet of options for people, because for me, to be honest, I want to get out of fiat altogether if I can. The only thing holding me there is that it's just too hard so far. So that's kind of what we're going to do with Ethic. We had a really great launch, and then there was a little problem with the interface, and had to fix that. In fixing that, we expanded our developer pool to 3 people now, maybe 4 people who are known, who are going to be known developers who are going to, self-dox themselves so they can be part of the project, which is a requirement for being a developer here. And I'm really excited about it. So we just fixed a bunch of stuff, little things. Did our first governance upgrade, which cuts the advanced price that sort of bots are getting, and then we're ready to go again. It's very exciting. And one of the things that it's tied to Telos with is this, like a lot of coins on DeFi, this has governance, right? We're updating it. It uses Aragon, like most things do, and on Ethereum. So this has the updating the program
without the cost.
Well, I mean, no, it's a high cost, right? So to deploy the next one, it cost me like 0.7 Ether to deploy the next, and everyone had to advance it because we were trying to solve a problem with these bots that was a result of it being impossible to really guess what the gas prices are going to be. So we had to deal with that, and it cost everyone who voted it, people paying like $15-20 to vote, just to vote. It's a real problem, and that's one of the pillars that I actually identified back in that article in October, and saying, look, it's great that you have this governance, but it's not governance the way we talk about governance in Telos, right? Where you actually, everything's smart contract controlled. Like we have a treasury, but it's MSIG controlled, and they basically do a poll and see, and if people vote for it, then the MSIG signers will transfer money. Well, that's that's very much a step below what we can do on and I've already been doing for a year and a half on Telos Decide governance. So we can upgrade that, and then the protocol governance that we're doing right now that goes through Aragon, the upgradable Solidity contract, that that's expensive, and people only do it to save the project, really. Or if they're whales, like if you're a whale and you've got 10% of the project, fine, $17 is nothing. But if you look at a lot of these things, and we talked about this on the last time I was on with you, there's a lot of these projects that claim to be governed, but if you really look at it, it's got half a it's got $5 million of total lock value and 4 people voted or 17 people voted or something like that. And we need to expand that. And we think that it's going to happen if it's free and easy to vote. So on our roadmap for Ethic is to bring in Telos Decide cross-chain communication, what I call C3, so that everyone who votes can be voting for free on Telos Decide, and then only the final outcome is actually passed back to Ethereum. So it's much. I think that's the wave of the future. I think this is another way that Telos, can build bridges and really help out the Ethereum community. Right? It takes off those. I think at this point, every little bit helps, because what we were just you and I were just looking at the gigaway price on Ethereum for gas, and today it really shot up. It was crazy. What was it? What was it today?
I saw 500 Gwei. Out of my league.
Right.
Because
I know.
That literally would be like, I think at current prices, it would have been like for me to interact with Uni. I haven't done anything on Uniswap today, but it would have been like $200-$300, $200 or something like that. No, right. Man, I'm not doing that.
So if we take, I think that the way that we keep, Telos has no interest whatsoever being in even positioning itself as an Ethereum killer. We want to help Ethereum. Ethereum is not going anywhere. Anyone who thinks they're going to kill Ethereum is kidding themselves or else lying to their audience in order to try to sell more tokens. But I'm looking at you, Cardano and EOS. That's bullshit. You're not gonna kill Ethereum. It's not going to happen. It's ridiculous. We think there's a lot of opportunities, though, to work with them and help them and do things like, hey, let's make voting free and easy and take all those transactions off. Because, it's one of those things where if you can just pull down some of those things, then all the things that actually have to happen on Ethereum, like high value DeFi and things like that, those can happen, a little bit more efficiently, lower price, less congestion, and it's a good partnership. And that's how we want to approach it. We have a lot in common. I look at like BSC, the explosion of BSC right now, and people in Ethereum are like, okay, we got to do this because it's so much cheaper, but at the same time we hate it because it's not even close to being decentralized. Nobody even pretends that it is. And so I think that when we open up Telos EVM in a few weeks, it's going to be much better, because it's going to be even faster and even cheaper than BSC, but it's going to be truly decentralized. And I think that it can become like the penny stock version of Ethereum, right? If you want to do a big deals, right? You do them on Ethereum. That's absolutely. If you want to do, but you can't do $100 deals. You definitely can't do $2 deals. Right. It's not, so it cuts out, huge geographic sections of the world, right? And huge economic sections of the world, right? You're not going to have. Certainly there are rich people in every country. We know that. So, but most of the population in many countries there's no way they're going to be able to take part in the economic explosion that is DeFi. So in that way, DeFi is still like old-fi, where okay, it's great, it's awesome and cool for rich people.
Yep.
How about the rest of us?
Yeah, isn't that crazy how this this ended up being this way, man? It's very interesting. Sometimes how the universe works is the irony of it. But so
yeah, but we can fix it, man. We can fix it with.
It's going to be fixed.
With Telos,
absolutely,
EVM.
Absolutely. Telos EVM. And when do you think you'll be able to migrate Ethic to that Telos EVM protocol or contract?
So those are two different things, right? Like Telos is actually poised to do a lot to help Ethereum. One is just the voting, right? Just the ethic governance is an example of how we're going to move voting for these projects, and make that free and easy to do, and save some transactions there. Telos EVM is something different, which is, like BSC, except it's going to be a Ethereum virtual machine run on Telos, but with massive capacity and speed. So, I mean, Ethereum's running around 15 seconds per block. BSC is running around, I think, 5 seconds per block right now. But Telos and Telos EVM run at 500 milliseconds per block. So it's half a second per block. That's 10 times faster even than BSC. Capacity is much higher, and the costs are going to be lower. Costs are probably going to be less than 1% of what Ethereum is, and probably less than 10% of what BSC is. But BSC's price is going to go up a lot because its token's going up. Right. So, and its congestion's going up. So, I mean, it's still, BSC basically has the same congestion problem as Ethereum. It's just, it's just not, it just hasn't hit it yet. It's exactly a straight up clone of Ethereum. Telos EVM has a lot of additional capacity. So we're not going to hit that anytime soon, no matter how big it gets. But yeah, so where are we on that? So where we are at on bringing voting with Telos aside is the voting system works great on Telos. The cross-chain communication portion is still in the works, and as soon as that's ready, we're gonna, Ethic's gonna be the first one to enjoy that and take advantage of that, and then hopefully there'll be more to come. Ethic is not just a test case for that. I think it's a really cool coin. I think there's a lot of people who are just pissed off with having to be, shackled to fiat money, and this is going to be interesting for them and fun, and it gives them a way to not have to use that in their transactions. It's a stable coin that they can use every day because it's composable and has a lot of advantages. But yeah, that it is going to use the Telos Decide voting system first. As for Telos EVM, this weekend we deployed the Ethereum, the Uniswap contracts to it. Nice. So and just before the show here, I was deploying a bunch more ERC20 tokens to it so that we can fully test out and everything Uniswap. So I think, without giving an actual date, I think that if you realize that's where we're at, we're actually already deploying the various DeFi apps and dApps like Uniswap. I think you can tell that we're probably pretty far along on the road towards releasing that.
Yeah, definitely. And you retweeted something the other day, which was interesting. Tell us about this thread.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So Telos is a great place to be. Telos still has fee-free transactions. EOS is going to go to this new model in a little more than 2 weeks, where you have to pay for transactions
power
up, and there's a lot of things going on there, and also there's a lot of reasons, and I don't know all the reasons. I think they're very positive because they liked what Telos was doing, and they liked the fact that we were able to help bring some funding in. The funny thing is that more funding has been raised on Telos, even though we have no money, than has been on EOS for actual projects. And so, discussions.app, probably one of the great social media dApps on EOS, is now moving everything, all content and all future development, to Telos. They're not adding Telos, they're taking it off EOS, bringing it to Telos, but they are keeping the token on Telos. They're keeping the token on EOS and a couple other things because they obviously want to support their existing user base. They're not trying to screw anybody over, but they think that the future is on Telos for them.
That's big.
I think it is too.
Me too. I do, I do as well, man. That is awesome. I think I actually
It's
retweeted that.
yeah. I mean, that's big news, right?
It's
I mean,
real
this is.
world. Yeah.
I think you're going to see more of it.
Yep.
And it's funny, speaking about the whole, crypto Twitter, uh, Telos actually had been catching up to Ethereum, so to EOS on transactions, right? EOS is still higher. Well, actually, on transactions, Telos actually passed EOS and had more transaction recently in a day than EOS did, even though EOS had more actions. And it's all just what it is. But the funny thing is, it brings to mind the question, well, what would happen if somebody had posted a picture of, Telos is flipping EOS or whatever. But it does bring to mind a really interesting question of what if that ever happened? I mean, the world would keep spinning, I am sure. I hope. But it's funny, when I posted that, a lot of people acted like the world would stop spinning, like somehow EOS has an inalienable right to have more transactions.
They have enough money, huh? Enough Bitcoin to make the world.
Well,
stop.
they do, but what I don't there's no linkage, right? Everyone's trying to make this notional linkage between how much Bitcoin Block One has and how much EOS should be worth. I've never seen, it's total non sequitur to me. Never seen. I mean, can you make? Do you get it? Like,
no, I don't. But I look at Tesla.
Yeah.
To me, that's same thing. Elon Musk, SpaceX, all these ancillary additional things that they're doing. The market seems to be placing value within the stock.
Yeah, but that's different because they're actually buying Bitcoin, right? Tesla made more money on Bitcoin than on appreciation last month than on selling cars.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about directly with Bitcoin and Tesla. I'm saying Tesla and like SpaceX. Like the market places an additional premium on the Tesla stock because of what SpaceX is doing. And
sure.
They're separate,
They are. I think that's, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, and maybe people do make these strange emotional connections. And I mean, everyone tries to suggest that there's efficiency in the market, and there's.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
So here's my thing though. Like when EOS goes to this power up model, now transactions are going to cost.
Yeah.
So I think the numbers are going to come down. So that could be a scenario where you literally have a flipping. We'll see.
Yeah, and we approach that. Yeah, I think we could too, right? I mean, and sure, a lot of people have said a lot of times that the difference between like a fee less and a fee based model is that there's more junk transactions on a feeless model.
There is.
There is.
There
is. But at the same time, how do you determine what's a junk transaction? Like, what is junk transaction? And any trade you make is a junk transaction to me because I don't care. Unless it's with me.
Right.
So one man's junk transaction is another man's. Is a reason for them doing it. I do agree that there's a lot of that the IDOS and rich coin type mining things are not what I want Telos to be used for. But I think as we get discussions.app, as we get New Life is bringing a lot of transactions. Apex is just about to launch. I mean, it's funny, talking about those three. Telos, nobody really calls Telos a social media blockchain, and yet I wouldn't be surprised if it has more social media daily transactions than Voice.
Yeah,
not as much as Hive. I mean, that's
no.
I got no problem with Hive. Those guys are great, and full respect.
That's a possibility.
It'll be fun to see. But people, you mention these things, and all you're doing is talking about, hey, what about this? And people act like, you did something bad.
Right. You're dissing the people.
People just don't like being dissed. Everybody likes their thing, and they want you to stay in your lane as they define your lane to be. And I'm not going to do it.
Right. Right. Tell us, I want to know more things going on with Telos, man, this week. Big
Yeah.
week. EVM. We've got
Well, we haven't mentioned
Bounce.
either what makes it a big week, right? We
No.
talked about some of these things. What makes it a big week is um, next Monday, we are selling for the first time some of our reserves as ERC20 tokens, right? So that is a sale that's going to happen on Bounce.finance, and we're looking to raise, I believe, 2,500 ether in order to fund massive increase in our liquidity. Even bigger than that, because, for example, as you know, a lot of that ether will go on Uniswap, but
Mm-hmm.
we can just flow it. If we bring in 500 ether on Uniswap, we don't have to, we can just bring in a corresponding 500 ether worth of Telos from reserves, right? So it actually is a bigger amount of liquidity than that, because the half that's Telos we already have in reserves, and those are going to be locked up for like 2 years using I can't remember which site it is, but it's one of the accepted locking systems. We're also going to get on. We're gonna buy ourselves something nice. Nice listing on a big exchange that everybody knows and likes, so that people have fiat on ramps and off ramps. So we can
Yep.
do Changely. So we can do all the things that we really haven't been able to do. So
That we talked about, I was like, hey, you guys need to do. And again, guys, I told you in the last interview, they say they're going to do it, they execute and do it. And so they're finally to that point where, unfortunately, this market is superficial in that way, in that respect. And you got to be on exchanges and stuff for people to take your project seriously, when it should be the other way around. But hey, that's the world we
yeah.
live in, Doug.
No. I agree, and not, I don't know if everybody knows this, but like I've actually, and other people on Telos have actually come to you for your advice in the past, because we really respect what your opinions are on these things, and you've given us really good advice. Most of the good advice you've given us, we haven't actually been technically able to take advantage of, because of this liquidity problem. And then we sort of like said, okay, we got to really do this. So a lot of that is, I would say the most credit goes to Suvi Rinkinen, who's the CEO of the Telos Foundation, who has been pushing us to do this step for a long time. I think you get a lot of credit for that, as being a sort of a silent advisor that some of us have gone to for your opinion. And then I wrote up the tulip plan, and a lot of people, but with a lot of influence of a lot of input of a lot of people in the community and stuff. And so it's been a good community driven thing. But your advice is always, I'm still asking you stuff like, what do we do when we list it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in fact, I got a couple more questions for you after the interview is done. So.
No problem, man. Hey, so why Bounce? Like, how did that whole relationship come
I don't
about?
know.
Okay.
There's a lot on purpose that, Telos is way too big a project for one person to do anything, and it's, I don't like, there's other, most crypto projects are, and yet somebody pretends to be in charge of everything, and I don't know, I think that they looked at a number of them, and they liked it. I'm sure.
I've never heard. I've never heard of them. I was just wondering, just curious.
I don't
That's
know
all.
either. I'm here for the tech.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
No, I focus on like, like I said, I'm trying to get help the team get EVM out the door and work on D-Store, decentralized cloud storage. And this has been, this has been such a big project that it really has sort of like sucked a lot of our resources out, and it just kind of sucks all the air out of the room, because you're trying to get this thing done, and you absolutely have to. It's it's been difficult, but I think it's going to be. I mean, just difficult. Like, you know, it's just a lot of work. It's none of it is terribly challenging. It's just a lot of, you know, it's a lot of work. And I think it's going to be good when we get this thing done, because it's totally worth it. We need to build this value for the chain and for the token holders. You know, we're definitely unabashedly looking to help token holders, you know, do well, right? We want to see them succeed, and I think there's going to be a big success here, though, because we're not really selling that much,
Right.
and I think I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think if you're interested, you should jump on it quick. We are doing, because Telos is all about keeping things fair as much as we can. We're going to leave the token sale open for 24 hours, because we don't want to just, like, it's a global project, and we don't want somebody to be disadvantaged because they're in a certain time zone. But the fact is, we're only selling so much, and people are going to have to, you know, and we can't stop it if the tokens all sell out before it gets to your, you know, before sunrise in your area. So,
Right.
You know, that's can't change the world.
So explain so people who may not understand fully how this all works, can we walk through that?
Yeah,
So you're
in fact,
doing the
we have a
bounce
document
finance.
coming up. We have a document on the website. No, we have a new one coming. Sorry, we have a new one coming. By the time this airs, it'll be right there, front and center on the Telos website, telos.net.
Okay.
So the way this is going to go is we have a contract. We have a token contract already there being tested. Everything's up. It's running through P Network. It's called Telos, TLOS, not P Telos or anything else like that. And we have a bounce page. Nothing opens until 1700 UTC on March 1st. So March 1st comes around, 1700. If you see anything before then, it's a fake. Be very careful. Only use the account addresses that you see and URLs that you see on the telos.net website, just to protect yourself from fakes, obviously. It opens up promptly at 1700 UTC on the 1st of March, and it will run for 24 hours, or until the set amount of Telos tokens that reach 2,500 Ether are sold out. That the actual price will be determined 24 hours before and announced 24 hours before. And then 24 hours, and then within 24 hours of it closing, we will launch the Uniswap pool. Although it's quite likely that'll be launched before, because people get those tokens and someone's going to want to do it. So my guess is, you know, the Uniswap pool starts launching, you know, seconds after the sale closes, but we will see. So yeah, these are going to be available on Uniswap. There's a token bridge operated by P Networks to Telos that is a two-way token bridge with Ethereum and Telos, but that's going to be closed for about, I think it's 3 to 7 days, to give everybody who's on Ethereum and who bought on Ethereum the sort of the exclusive opportunity to trade that period of time, before Telos from the main chain come back on. Meanwhile, during that time, though, we expect that there will be some arbitrage going on with the exchanges that currently hold it, right? So if Telos bumps up to $2 or $3, you know, it's very likely that people will see an arbitrage opportunity and equalize those prices across the two chains.
Right. Yeah, no, that's major, man. I hope people understand what you're saying there. Read between the lines. We're not giving financial advice, though.
not at all. Not at all. Eat your fiber, though. My advice is eat your fiber, because it helps your poop. It's very important. But not financial advice. So the proceeds of that What's important also though is the proceeds of that are going to go pretty much entirely to creating these liquidity pools, paying for exchange listings, a certain amount of marketing that we're able to do, and that's about it. So we're hoping to raise around $6 million USD in that range, because there's also a pre-sale. So anybody who wants to buy 1 BTC or more of Telos at a slightly preferred price can also contact us and on the Telos channels, and we'll get to the right people. That's pretty limited, but we're raising a little bit of money that way as well.
Okay.
So
nice.
that we can have just the biggest, so we can have the what we need, right? We've kind of figured out what we need. We figured out what gets it done, and and beyond that, it's we're just not trying to overreach that. I think that as you and I talked about this, right? Don't get greedy. Don't go too far too fast. If the market
This
wants
is a
to
long
take
game.
it's a long game. Yeah, I mean, look at Uni token. Everyone goes, oh, like that went down, or Sushi Swap or whatever. Those things went down, and now they're way up again. Yep. It's crazy. Everybody dumped out of it. So things go down, things go up. I think that as people see Telos EV, I don't have a lot of worries, because what happens after this sale, and make your own assessments about what may happen price wise. But after this sale, we're going to get on for the first time a big exchange, right? That often does well for tokens. We're going to launch Telos EVM, which will be the fastest, cheapest, highest capacity EVM, let alone decentralized, in existence. So it opens up the possibility of
and I think the nature of the Telos hodlers are different. I mean, basically the people who have Telos right now are not looking to just exit after this.
No. I mean, if they did, they are. I mean, and that's great.
And they maybe right.
There's one big holder who used to be a BP who had 2.8 million Telos, and he's just been selling them, just been dump selling them every day, and giving people, like, that's the only Telos that's really available right now. Everybody else is hodling like crazy, because I think for a long time we believed that the price was way different than it actually was, and now that we've had our 25-30x lately, I think people only believe it more. And that it's healthy, actually, if people who don't believe it get out now. I'd rather have them get out now than at $3 or anywhere north of here. Right. I don't know if that's ever going to be a price or what, but better now. It's healthy. We're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna put any kind of. We're not trying to put any governors on anything, because economic forces, they're like water, and you got to just like let it. You got to let it flow. If you try and hold it back, you're going to get a bad result. So, that's, and it's just not fair. We can't give special deals to some people and not others. And it's not how Telos works. So, I'm trying to make sure everybody knows about what we are doing in terms of additional, like, large private sales prices. So that anyone in the community can get, people can pool their money if they want to get a lot and get that price. It's not really that much better than the current price. It's about the same, but it's a way to actually get those without, get a large amount.
Messing with the market,
exactly. But mostly we made those be for large deals only, because we want to funnel everything else to the actual markets, right? Where it actually has impact on the markets, and it's buying from current users. So and another thing that people need to know is we're not going to be dumping into this at all, right? That's not our way. People are going to know if we do. So the amount we're selling, the amount we're saying, there's not going to be some extra stuff that's dumping into it. If we need to raise more funds down the road, we have Tbonds that are super successful, and we'll do those at the current price. And people are clamoring for more Tbonds, Telos Tbond sales anyway. So
Right.
you know this because you know about like de-risking deals, right?
Yes.
Can you explain to those who like what that means? That what?
So we're trying to do that right now over at EOS Detroit. So, basically in the scenario we're dealing with, we're trying to bring in someone who's more qualified in a certain task to de-risk some of our
Yeah,
internal maybe
yeah,
shortfalls, right?
yeah.
So,
So there's
yeah,
risks, right? There's risks to any investment. And those risks could be like that may be a performance risk, right?
right.
You're trying to you're looking at your organization like an investor and you're going, what's going to keep investors, what's going to make them worry about this? And you're going to go, well, we don't have any, this is a really important area of growth for us and we don't really have an expert in there. So we bring in an expert that removes or lessens the risk.
Reduces, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the risks of of DeFi or token sales? Well, the biggest risk, I guess, is that the ones I see are rugging, right? There's a
Yep.
big risk that somebody's just going to well, that's absolutely not going to happen on Telos, right? So that's
Nope.
probably the biggest risk is already eliminated. What's the
Mm-hmm.
next biggest risk? Well, let's talk about a performance risk, right? There's a lot of things that are selling stuff selling dreams that they may or may not complete. But that's not a
That's
risk
the
on Telos
opposite.
either
Yeah.
because we've already built more. We've already built more than most people promise. Um, and I think that so it's not like we would ever be able to not launch a network. We launched it 2 years ago. That's de-risked. We've removed that risk. Other risks are what are getting it done but not getting it done in time for market. But it seems like we have a really good time for market, especially on things that we're about to launch, like decentralized storage and Telos EVM. And it seems like adoption is really already starting to come for the Telos Assign governance engine. I mean, any one of those would be enough actually to launch a whole chain,
Yep.
a whole blockchain, or a whole project, and we have like all three of those. So I think
Oh,
that
you
that
mean
risk is
you're
gone.
not still working on your first DApp? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right. Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
was just
Well,
I was
yeah.
just
There's
checking.
another one. What if you build it and no? What? There are chains that are worth a lot more, that are worth thousands of times more than Telos right now, that do not have dApps. They're proud of adding smart contracts, but those no, not they're proud about adding tokens, right? So there's a
Tokens.
chain out there that just added tokens. They're very proud, but those tokens don't have any smart contracts. So that means that they're actually just the same token with a different name. You can't do anything special with them, which is to me is 90% of the value of
A
of
smart
of
yeah, of
smart contracts
having
and tokens.
right.
So we're not going to do that. I mean, like we
Right.
talked about, there's like Apex moved here from Steam.
Yeah.
Discussions just moved here from is moving here now from EOS.
Mhm.
Clearly, we are capturing innovative apps, and there is a home for this. So
Yeah.
the risk of nobody, having a party that no one comes to, that's also de-risked. I mean, the amount of de-risking that has already occurred on Telos is massive, and I guess it's going to be an interesting test case of whether or not people think in that way as investors in DeFi, or whether it's just number go up, number go up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
I
see.
think
This
there's
is
some. I think there's a mix. I think there's some really smart people, and there's also people who have kind of been trained by this market that the one thing you have to do is get in free first, right? And they're
mhm.
not wrong. Like if you were to in the DeFi market, the single, if you could do all your research, or you could just be getting in first on all these things and get out. And of those two strategies, the get in first one is gonna do better for you.
Hey, I made this meme earlier today, Doug. This is the My Pillow CEO. Dump it.
Um,
Dump it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we'll see, man. Like I said, I've been so excited about Telos for quite a bit of time because I'm just analyzing it from less superficial reasons, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, your
more
time frame is
fundamental
not. You're not looking at, okay, what am I going to get at it so that I can get out at it 4 hours later.
No, I couldn't
You're like
anyway.
going to hold it for 4 years or something,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
So that's how I look at things too, and I think,
so where can kind of the circle back and finish this all up, man? You know, one of the questions I always get over and over again is where can I buy Telos? Where can I buy Telos? Where can I buy Telos? Can you explain to people the best places
Yeah,
to
well,
buy
that's
Telos?
exactly the problem we're trying to solve with this tulip plan. So the best place
Yep.
right now, I think, if you go to telos.net, you can go to
Yep.
buy.telos.net, and it
Mm-hmm.
tells you where you can get it. I think if you're already on crypto exchanges, uh, Probit is the
Probit.
best.
Yeah, that's where
Probit,
I
and
get
what I
mine.
mean is that's where we have the most volume, the most actual
Yeah.
volume. Coin Tiger, I don't believe that volume is real. Um, Personally, I'm not making any accusations, but in my heart of hearts, that's my personal belief. After looking at it, and Nudex has Telos, and boy, there's sometimes there's some problems there, and there have been this weekend, and I don't know if this is just downstream from it being Lunar New Year, where a lot of people were off, or because they are adding AMM functionality or what, but it's not been a great experience there, and so I would definitely go with Probit.
Yep.
But soon,
I
and then
haven't
if you
used
want to get.
anything other than Probit, so I don't know. I can't vouch for any of the other ones.
Yeah, you can. For people who want to, for people who want to just buy it on the site, we've set up with MoonPay to do it, and Telos is paying the fees. That's one way to go. Another way to go is if you already have EOS, and there's an article about this on the site.
You can
You can
swap. I remember when we did that. You
yeah,
guys
you
did
can
that.
withdraw your EOS to an account called Trade for Telos, TLOS.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the site and make sure you're getting it right. Because probably there's somebody who's got some slightly different thing to catch people who get a letter wrong. But if you send that, you can withdraw from any exchange that has EOS to Trade for Telos account, and with your account name as the
Memo, right?
memo. Yeah, and then it'll go to your account. I think that's an easy way. There, some people who've done that have had some slippage on really large transfers. So I'd be cautious. I think if you're doing it, anything that you consider large, I would just go to Probit, sign up for an account. It's great. It's a great exchange. I really like them. Frankly, I think they're great. They're going to be covering the other. This is something I probably shouldn't say. They're going to be covering both kinds. They're going to be covering Ethereum based and Telos mainnet based TLOS tokens, and you can deposit what you want. You can withdraw to either chain you want, just like USDT. They're a great exchange. I don't know why we need anything bigger, but people want another big exchange. So I would go to Probit. I really like them. I think they're having worked with their business people. They've been great people to work with. So yeah. But then pretty soon, man, just go to Bounce Finance and buy a bunch on, get some of that sweet pre-sale Telos and go crazy.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Douglas Horn again. Epic interview. I hope my members take advantage. If you didn't take advantage,
yeah, you guys got like a
at least
2-day advantage. A 2-day,
3-4, the 3-day, I think.
Whoa,
3-day. So
that's a
on the
deal,
last
man.
video, I think it was like 3-4 days. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, but yeah, guys, go
hoping that
check
would
out.
come.
Yeah. Check out Telos.net for more information on all the stuff that Doug talked about today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell. We're getting out of here, people. Holla.